Welcome back to Sarasota, Florida, and NGN's continuing coverage of the 2012 USA Ultimate Club Championships. We're already started here in the final game in the women's division between Seattle's Riot and San Francisco's Fury. Game is tied up 1-1, both teams scoring with no turnovers in the first point. I'm Kyle Weisbrot here with Hidea Rodrigue. Hidea, tell us what we expect to see in this game.
Well, right now we're seeing a downwind battle, both teams putting it without turnovers. That was the first turnover we've seen so far. Both teams strong and have rolled through their both their pools and their power pools and their quarterfinal and semifinal matchups to get into this game. Big D there by Riot.
So Krailkamp with the D, and right back at it is Carolyn Finney. Now off the races, Nazarov picks it up, dishes it out to Bowen. Bowen down to Finney. Back to Nazarov, looking for their first upwind goal of the game here. Of course, Fury 6-time defending champions here. Nazarov high stall count, looking to the reset, and can't connect with Finney. Ellie Burstein with the block. Here's a disc up to Burstein. And Burstein with a shot. Khalees Cardenas going big. Cardenas has been all over the place in this game, and this is a great catch by her. So Riot up 2-1 on downwind scores.
Cardenas has been having a great tournament. Very fast receiver with obviously great grabs that we just saw.
And Cardenas goes up and out for this one. Burstein doing it on both sides. Nice dump coverage there. All the way across the board, the Riot defense down there was fantastic, forcing that high stall count turnover.
Today, Fury is without one of their star handlers, Emily Damon, who unfortunately suffered an ACL injury in the first day of play. It's her second ACL tear. She suffered one as well as a college player with Stanford. So an unfortunate loss for Fury, but I'm sure we're going to see lots of players stepping in to take her place.
So Fury on the line to receive. Rory Tidcombe to pull. As every day has been here, it's a windy one. Wind blowing left to right and downwind here for Fury. It's Nazarov with the disc, dishing it out. Shot deep. This one's not coming back in bounds, so it's going to be brought in up the line. Tidcombe to pick the disc up. Tidcombe checks in initially at the goal line before realizing that she needs to bring it in all the way up. Where the observer's marking.
Tidcombe used to the wind, as she was one of the captains of the Beach Worlds Ultimate Tournament in 2011 in Lignano Sabbiadoro. And we had some very, very gusty conditions there as well.
And a deep shot pulled down by Nazarov. And here's a shot from Fury. Sherwood. Excuse me, that's Cree Howard. Cree Howard dishes it back. And Tidcombe picks this one up. Dominique Fontenette. Fontenette taking a shot. Sarah Griffith, Surge catches that one in the middle of the field. Back to Tidcombe. Out to Sarah Davis. Davis, one of the young players here for Riot. Riot had a big youth movement this year. They've been capitalizing on a lot of the young players coming out of University of Washington, like Davis, as well as University of Oregon. Zahnizer, another rookie for Riot. And Zahnizer with a deep shot to Griffith. Tough read.
Almost backed up there by Hannah Kawai.
Nazarov to pick up for Fury.
Nice movement up to Howard. Back to Sun. High wide to Daryani. Back to Sun in the middle. Nazarov. And Nazarov with a deep look. Cree Howard coming from the far side, but not going to be able to get it. Daryani also down there.
And like Fury, Riot also rolled through their very first pool, only 8 points. 8 points was the highest score total against them. So clearly capable of scoring upwind in these conditions.
So Tid come again to pick the disc up. This time on the goal line. Kawhi with the initiation, nice break mark backhand. Kawhi up to Griffith. To Zonizer. Zonizer with the bid, can't come up with it. Sun picks it up. Nice little over-the-top scuba to Nazarov. Round to Cree Howard. Little high flip backhand. Up to Dansker. Back to Nazarov. Nazarov with Fontanet bidding. Comes up with it. Back to Sun. Good patience here from the Fury O. Nice downfield defense by O'Malley. And here's one across. And Rory bidding, but Dansker comes down with a big contact there. And the Fury scored to tie it up at 2s.
Elite Tiny Dancer had some great grabs in her quarterfinal matchup. We'll see her make that big one right there.
Lots of contact there. Dansker, both of them look a little shaken up, but both up quick. So Riot able to generate a couple of turnovers on that upwind point for them, but unable to convert. See Alex Snyder there on the line for Fury.
We've also got Captain Shmi Narayan. Fury this time has Ness Fajardo going upwind. Yesterday she was playing a lot of downwind points and ripping some nice lefty flicks.
Castle Synchrope with the pull.
Nicky Bloom on the pull for Fury.
Pull out of bounds.
This sails out of bounds.
Alyssa Weatherford to pick the disc up and put it to play. Weatherford doing most of the downwind handling here for Riot. Nice outside in throws. Good touch on him. Katie Crayley going deep. As well as Khalees Cardenas, and Cardenas pulls this one in the end zone. Observers signal goal.
Score for Riot.
And Riot with another quick one. Up 3-2.
First team to get an upwind break. It's going to take control of this game. It's going to be huge.
So it's very similar to what we saw in the very first point when Alyssa Weatherford went down to Katie Crayley for the goal. First pass goal. That efficiency will definitely help out Riot in this game. So we're going to take a quick look at the road to this final game for these two teams.
So we see in the quarters, Fury faced Capitals, 15-10. Showdown Nemesis had a bit of a battle, and Showdown faced Fury in the semis. Fury walking through handily, 15-4. On the Riot side, Riot had a good battle with Ozone, but came down 15-10. Scandal and Molly Brown also had a similar score, 15-10 on their side. And the Riot Scandal game was a very contested matchup. At one point, the teams were at 13s, but Riot pulled away the win, 15-13.
And Hadid, you played with the Caps. How was that quarterfinal game? That was a pretty close game for a lot of it, right?
It was pretty close. It was 8-7 at half, and we were battling. We got an upwind, they got an upwind. But then Fury got the upwind after the half, and then got another one and pulled away with the game. But they had some really great throws in the wind.
So a big block here.
Right, with the chance to get that upwind break.
And just an overthrow. Caitlin Cordell there with the block and the toss. Fiona McKibben, the intended receiver. So now Fury working from their goal line.
Something we saw a lot of yesterday, Fury really trying to work it to that backhand side and rip a backhand.
And Fajardo downfield to Sherwood. Sherwood with a nice layout grab, but looks like she's a little shaken up on the play. She's gonna probably take one. So Sherwood coming off the field. Fury to put on Nancy Sun. Strong handler for Fury on the goal line.
Just saw that lefty flick of Ness Fajardo. Same lefty flick that she was showing off in the quarterfinal. We awarded her our Player of the Game award in that quarter. Some great defensive blocks and some great throws.
So Cordell here on the mark.
Thompson on 4. Nancy Sun with the disc.
Nancy Sun finds Snyder. Back to Sun. And here's the look over the intended receiver. And Narayan almost comes up with that one, but just over her head. So Riot getting the disc back. So Fury, they haven't lost a game in 6 consecutive trips here. This is their 7th in a row. Do they look a little more beatable this year than they have in the past?
They've got a deep bench, and they keep filling that bench when they lose players with new rookies from very, very strong college programs. So, you know, they've got a system, they've got the legs to run it. So I think, you know, every team's beatable just any given day. And this is going to be a mental battle for the upwind point.
So Fury in a man-to-man defense here. We saw some sagging in the lane. Alex Snyder with a block. And Kayla Jorgensen streaking deep. And Jorgensen pulls that one down as Titcomb trips. No call on the play, and it's another Fury goal tied up at 3s.
Fury and Riot continuing to trade downwind points.
So look at the block by Snyder.
Unfortunate trip, looks like she might have had position to get a nice D there.
I think Titcomb had a beat on that one before she went down. So this Riot team also reloaded. Do you think they have, I mean, does this look like a better Riot team than past years?
They look taller, they look fast. We haven't actually, my team hasn't matched up with them this season, so we haven't had a chance to see that in action, but their scores have certainly reflected similar level of strength as we've seen in past years. They have commented that they feel that this is their deepest bench yet, and hopefully that'll translate into this downwind point and perhaps an upwind break.
So last year, Fury coming away with a 15-13 victory. Of course, last year, Leroy Titcomb had torn her ACL at sectionals and was unable to play, and she's a key part of this Riot offense.
Huge pulls for this Riot team, especially going upwind.
And here's Snyder with the pull. Fury.
Snyder on the ball for Fury.
Weatherford to pick it up. Katie Crayley going deep right away. Throw underneath to Cordell, to Cardenas.
Riot turn.
But the Weatherford throw into the ground.
Snyder to pick up for Fury.
Snyder picked up, marked by Gwen Ambler. Snyder with a nice around break to Daryani. Daryani with a shot deep. This one's gonna hang. And Crayley pulls it down for Riot.
Runners with a big D for Riot.
Crayley, a speedy receiver and good on defense, but her forehand turns over in the wind. So Fury to get the disc back.
Hurricane Sandy may not have touched down, but we're still feeling her effects.
Snyder to pick up for Fury.
Snyder around. This one's hanging. Gives an opportunity, and Weatherford comes in for the block. Over the top.
Return.
We have a call. Looks like a pick has been called. Dariani calling the pick.
Pick called.
Trying to catch up with Cardenas. So she'll catch up here. Just check back in. Weatherford to pick it up.
Alyssa Weatherford to pick up for Riot.
Weatherford marked by Finney.
Alyssa Weatherford, a longtime Seattle Juniors player, came through the Seattle Juniors system, high school system. Now showcased here for Riot.
And she's played a lot of years with Shannon O'Malley. Both played in high school together at Nathan Hale. Up to Katie Crayley. Looks like a pick call. This is going to discussion about whether it's going to stay. It's going to go back to Ambler.
This is back to Brett Ambler. Coming in on 6. Alex Snyder on the mark for Fury.
The around. Back to Weatherford. Reset to Ambler. Nice give and go move from Weatherford. And Heidi Marie Clemens Wiggins with the goal. Weatherford with the assist, so both teams continue to trade downwind.
Interesting to see if Riot puts on a strong line to try and get the break right now, or if they continue to keep trading downwind.
So Weatherford really stepping up for this Riot downwind team. Getting the block here and throwing another assist. That's 3 assists for Weatherford in this game.
Strong defensive line out for Riot. Serge Griffith. Hannah Kwai. Shannon O'Malley. Got that 5'11" Jillian Gaudreau.
Gaudreau, another one of the UW pickups from last year's championship team in college.
Shannon O'Malley to pull for Riot.
When we were talking to the Riot team before the game, Seattle was saying that they were going to throw a bunch of different looks here in the first half and see what works. So we'll be interested to see if they pull out one of those zone looks here. Fajardo up to Nazarov. Here's a zone. Looks like a pretty standard zone look. 3-person cup, 2 wings, a short deep and a deep deep.
Again, working it to that backhand side.
Nice patience from Fury. Wide to Fajardo. Fajardo with the fake. Nazarov and Casey also working the backfield with Fajardo. There's Casey. Out wide. Casey. Nazarov. Casey up the middle. Out wide to Fajardo. Nazarov. Casey. So good patience here from Fury. Casey again. Kate Kingery trying to get in there. Over the top to Fajardo. And the shot to the end zone.
Just out.
So lots of patience and really good secure passes up to the goal line, and then just couldn't find a way to work that one in. So Caitlin Cordell to put it in for Riot. Another opportunity for an upwind break. And Cordell going deep to Griffith. Griffith with steps, easy catch. Kawhi going up line. Griffith holds it back. In the middle of McDowell, but Nazarov there to eat that one up.
Nazarov with a nice step in deep for Fury.
Back to Nazarov. Fury looking to fast break this one, and here's Nazarov going deep. Cree Howard going deep. Looked like she might have had a beat on that one.
Looked like she slowed down.
Fury turn.
Here's another look at it.
Ethan Cordell to pick up for Riot.
You know, I think she thought that was, I think she just misread. I think she thought it was further away from her than it was. I think she could have caught to that one.
Big call.
So Cordell marked by Rudin, nice break, marked to Kawhi. And Kawhi with the big backhand. Griffith again open. Oh, Griffith with a touch, and she pulls it down. And this time Griffith calls the timeout. Just outside the upwind goal line. This is a big opportunity here for Riot.
This upwind point would be a very, very big break for Riot at this point in the game.
Here's another look at the Kawhi backhand. Griffith getting really lucky there. A lot of times when we've seen those touches on upwind throws, the disc will get a lot of edge and fly away.
Fly backwards.
And luckily that one stayed within catching range for her. And Caitlin Cordell setting that up, setting the Kawhi backhand up with a nice break mark throw. Gave Kawhi a lot of room to throw that one.
Riot looking with a little interesting music making with their uniforms in the huddle.
So big opportunity here. You know, we've seen in a lot of games teams calling these upwind timeouts and then struggling to punch it in. You know, I think giving the defense time to set up and game plan here is sometimes a big challenge.
In one of our games, the opposing team called 2 timeouts in 1 point and didn't manage to convert that point. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not the fast break or the reset will be effective here for Riot.
So Griffith to pick it up. Kawhi first in the stack. Cordell set up as the dump.
Fury with a chance for a big D here. Violation.
Looks like a forced backhand. Kawhi clears. And a shot over the top. Incomplete. So the timeout does not pay off.
Riot turn.
Looks like Riot a little confused on what defense they're playing. Some folks in his zone, some of their players in man-to-man, but a quick turnover as Maggie Rudin is unable to come up with it. And Shannon McDowell completes the pass to the upwind end zone.
Looks like it might have been Kate Kingery. Captain Kate.
KK, a longtime player for this Riot team out of Carleton College.
And also recently came home with a gold medal from Worlds this year with the first women's masters team.
Great job by McDowell and Kingery as well as Goudreau taking advantage of that fast break in that upwind end zone and maximizing the opportunity there on that turnover. So Riot with the first break of the game and up 5-3.
We'll see if Riot can convert this for another break going downwind.
Finds KK in the end zone for the break for Riot. Riot 5, Fury 3.
I believe this may be the first time that Fury's been down in a game at this tournament.
This is a team over the years that's shown a lot of poise in challenging situations. They've come back from much bigger deficits than this, of course.
I think that was 2008.
2008 down 10-1 in the finals against Riot before making a huge comeback and winning 15-13. So pull from Titcomb to Jorgensen. Brings it back to the middle. Snyder.
Snyder will not be afraid to put up a big huck in this win. She did so in the quarterfinal for a very nice upwind break. Nice flat flick.
Jorgensen also a great thrower this win. She's been, it's a lot of spin with the disc, and here's a drop.
Fortunate drop for Fury.
Weatherford on this for Riot.
So Weatherford to Ambler. And here's another shot deep. Crayley. And coming across, Liz Penny.
Liz Penny with the lead for Fury.
Liz Penny making up a lot of ground on this throw to get in there.
Doing fine now.
There's the rip.
Riot turn. Alex Snyder to pick up for Fury.
Fiona McKibben with the throw there for Riot. And it looks like Liz Penny will be taking an injury sub. Penny, another longtime player. She's played for Riot previously.
Nina Ryan steps onto the field for Fury.
My first memories of watching an Ultimate game involve seeing Liz Penny all over the field for Riot.
Just a very strong athlete. And here's a turnover right on the goal line, giving Riot a great opportunity. Alyssa Weatherford going to pick it up, looking for her 4th assist of the game.
Alyssa Weatherford to pick up for Riot. And put the disc in play from the goal line.
Marked by Finney. Kaylin Cordelis, isolated up front. Excuse me, Cardenas. And over the top to Titcomb for the goal.
Riot gets another break.
So Riot making the most of their upwind score by converting the downwind opportunity, and they're now up 6-3. And Fury calling a timeout here to regroup. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back momentarily. Stick with us for the first half of the Women's Championship action. Welcome back to first half action here at the 2012 Club Championships finals of the women's division between Seattle's Riot and San Francisco's Fury. Fury just taking a timeout after a 3-point Riot run. Of course, out here today we've got four observers on our championship game. Jonna Homaker is the head observer with Kate Williamson, Julie Morris, and Stephen Hubbard. They're in green out here. They're here to quickly resolve calls the players make and can't agree on. So, Fury adjustments here. You know, 3 straight points. Anything that you think the Fury needs to do differently here to start scoring these upwinders?
Well, they showed a lot of great patience working it downwind and just couldn't convert. So I think if they take a little riskier decision, less riskier decisions outside of the red zone and just continue to exhibit that patience, then they should have no problems walking it up the field.
So this time Riot coming down man-to-man. Forced backhand. Big O'Malley bid on Doriani. Doriani still able to come down with it.
Doriani with a nice lefty backhand.
LaRoche downfield near the goal line. And Snyder to the end zone.
There's some great patience there, probably on a pretty high stall count.
So observer ruling that one a goal. LaRoche with the assist. Snyder with the goal. So Fury official on the downwinder this time. So Dansker with the assist there. So great movement from Fury on the downwinder. Nice pressure from O'Malley. Interesting that Riot didn't go back to the zone defense, which was effective in forcing a lot of Fury passes on the last point.
It seemed to be working for them. I mean, if you're gonna, in this wind, the more passes, the more chance of a turnover. So I was surprised that they decided to switch it up back to man. But again, as they said before, they're gonna be trying different looks. So maybe they want to try that man out one more time, try different man defense.
Or maybe keep that zone in their pocket so later in the game they can pull it out without Fury having figured it out.
Right. Something that I know my own team does as well, mix it up, even if it's working, just to keep them on their toes.
Well, especially after a timeout, the team might talk about, well, how do we want to deal with the zone defense? Then you come back out man-to-man, and all that talk they had over the timeout, maybe not able to put into action, and by the time you put the zone back later, they're not ready for it.
Right.
So Alyssa Weatherford again with the disc. Alex Snyder poaching in the lane. Looks like primarily man-to-man though from zone, from Fury. Weatherford again. So it's a sag off the handler, leaving Gwen Ambler open. And Weatherford goes up to Cardenas. But Daryani able to knock that one down. Snyder, marked by Ambler. Into the middle to Dansker. Back to Snyder. Around to Nazarov. Weatherford on the mark. Nice little IO throw to Snyder. Looking for a deep receiver, but no one was breaking for her. She goes underneath to Dansker. Sherwood on the sideline. Sherwood steps into a forehand and delivers.
It's like Julie Bowen with that nice grab.
And Snyder retaining possession with a great layout catch. And here's a shot to the end zone. Daryani, the receiver. And Daryani coming down with it.
Fury answers back with the upwind. Coming downwind with a chance to tie it back up. Reclaim the break they lost.
There's Daryani with the bookends. Here's the nice catch from Snyder on the point block throw. And Snyder with a nice upwind forehand here. Just lays it in front of Daryani. Getting it done on both ends of the field.
So this Fury team featuring quite a few Canadians. We have Geneviève Laroche, who played for Stella, one of the teams that combines with Lotus to form the Capitals. And Alex Snyder is also Canadian.
I believe technically Alex Snyder has dual citizenship.
Yes. One of our Capitals players happened to be her babysitter.
Oh, really?
When she was in high school.
Is that how Snyder got into Ultimate?
I don't think so. I think this was before their Ultimate days.
Snyder, of course, playing for both U.S. and Canadian teams in the past.
She played on the World Game team for Canada in 2009.
I believe she actually started her international experience on the 2002 Canadian Juniors team in Riga, Latvia. Canada won that event. So Titcomb with the disc. Out to O'Malley. O'Malley with a shot deep. And Snyder pulling it down. Intended receiver Griffith there. Casey. So Fajardo with a nice possession saving grab, marked by Fontenette. Going over the top. This one's incomplete. To Alden Fletcher, intended receiver. And another Snyder D. Middle to Daryani, nice catch. to Lauren Casey, marked by Kate Kingery. Nice around break to Snyder. Snyder digging it out. Back to Casey. Out wide to Narayan. To LaRoche. Looks like a call
foul
here.
Looks like a foul's called, maybe an offensive foul.
Kickers call. Just coming in on 2. Then LaRoche on the disc for Fury. Are now on the mark.
Well, Casey going up line, and LaRoche lays it in. And so Fury responds with Riot's three-point run with a three-point run of their own to tie it up at 6, and we're back on serve.
Adams tying it up. Fury 6, Riot 6.
If this continues trading downwind, we'll see Fury going downwind after the half.
So nice little move from Casey, but really nice throw from LaRoche. We've actually seen a lot of those downwind throws to those reset cutters cutting up line. They're very difficult because the wind is pushing it away from the receiver. She put a lot of touch on it, just laid it out in front of her receiver. Let's look at Lauren Casey. Casey playing her college ultimate with Stanford University. And Liz Penny with the disc.
Quite a few Stanford players on this Fury team. Emily Damon, as well as some Riot players featuring for Stanford, most notably Gwen Ambler, captain, coach, and player.
Nancy Sun to pull for Fury.
So Nancy Sun here to pull. And turns this over, taking a favorable roll for Fury. Ambler to pick the disc up. This is up to Alyssa Weatherford. Back to Ambler. Ambler and Weatherford, and here's an Ambler shot deep. And over the defender, but Kristen Groover unable to come with it. Groover, another one of the players from the University of Washington this year. A rookie for Riot. Finney with a nice IO to Jorgensen, and Jorgensen holds the deep one back. Across to Sun. Maggie Rudin really working downfield. Here's Nazarov. Right in his zone defense.
Foul call.
Foul call on the mark.
Disc in on 0.
Clemens Wiggins on the mark. Nazarov with the disc.
Nazarov on the disc for Fury. Wiggins on the mark.
Nazarov with the IO, but too low for Sun.
Fury turns.
Looks like it had a little bit of a ground bounce on the way.
So Weatherford, the round backhand. Easy deep for Jorgensen.
19 by Fury.
Fury really good at getting the movement started, not waiting for one of their handlers to pick out the disc.
But Finney over to Jorgensen, unable to connect. Finney and Jorgensen, college teammates with UC Santa Barbara.
Good return. An Ambler to pick up for Riot. Derek Clancy on the mark for Fury.
Ambler to Weatherford. To Nora Carr. And the disc to Crayley. Crayley can't hold on to it. Bid from Jorgensen. Lots of pressure. I don't think she got the disc there, but enough to cause Crayley to think about it.
Penny holding it back this time.
Nazarov. Back to Finney. Outside to Jorgensen. You know, I don't think Riot can afford all these downwind turnovers. I think if you give Fury this many opportunities, you're going to really struggle to stop them from scoring upwind eventually.
They've got the throws. They've got the patience, and they'll put it together.
Such a balanced attack from Fury. Up to Nazarov. Through the middle. And here's the shot from Jorgensen over the head of Liz Penny.
That IO flick just taken away by the wind there.
So Weatherford again to pick the disc up. So Fury showing great movement up the field, but unable to punch that one in on the goal line. And right away, Weatherford going down. Crayley the receiver. And Crayley with another drop. And once again, we see that quick transition from Fury. And Clancy to Penny, incomplete. So Wright getting another opportunity.
Marie Wiggins on the disc.
Clemens Wiggins picks it up and hits Ambler. Weatherford. And this one over the top, looking for Carr. But the wind pushes him too far.
Riot turn.
Looks like Riot's going to set a zone here.
Wiggins on the mark for Riot.
Looks like they're pushing to the forehand sideline. Also, some man-to-man on those resets. Good pressure there from Cardenas. This one swings wide to Jorgensen. Back to Sun. Sun through the middle to Clancy. Clancy with a nice throw out to space. Finney unable to come up with that one.
Just out of Finney's reach. When Ambler picks up after that Fury.
Ambler picks it up. And this one over the top. And Cardenas with a valiant effort. And Fury again moving very quickly. The benefit of those hucks that Riot's throwing when they get into the end zone, even if they're not complete, they get time to set that zone up. But Fury with their quick transitions, able to eat up a lot of yards here. And here's Jorgensen. And that one dives just before it gets to Penny.
Something we found in our quarterfinal. We want to set a few zones on Fury, but they just get the disc moving too quickly, and we'd have to go straight into man.
I think that really is the difference between these hucks that are landing 5 yards outside the end zone with a Fury player nearby, allowing them to get it moving, versus one that's 15 yards deep, or even some of the ones that are out the back of the end zone allow Riot to set up their zone defense. So Ambler here with a timeout. We're going to take a quick break as well while they talk about it, and we'll be back to you momentarily for the end of the first half. So welcome back to women's finals action. We're here in a very pivotal point in the Fury Riot game. Game tied at 6s. Riot opened up a 3-point lead to 6-3, and Fury has scored the last 3 consecutive points. This point has been a marathon point with turnovers on both sides. And here's Weatherford going deep to Cardenas. Jorgensen on D, and Jorgensen over the shoulder. Nice play. Finney moving quickly up to Penny. Finney going up line, and Cardenas getting it right back. Just owning it for Cardenas.
Weatherford to put the disc in play.
A little fist pump after to celebrate.
Crayley under. Over the top to Carr. Carr looking for Weatherford. Weatherford with a nice stab. Round to Ambler. And Weatherford going over the top to Carr. And Carr jumping back and into the end zone for the goal. So Riot wins that marathon point and gets on the board 7-6, 1 point away from half.
Conversion to an upwind D point here would be very big for Riot going into the next half.
Particularly because they'll be starting going downwind in the second half here.
They'll actually, Riot will start upwind. They had the first point going downwind.
You are correct.
But going upwind with a nice 2-point buffer would be a lot better than a 1-point buffer.
So you see Ben Wiggins out there. Interesting story for Riot. You know, Maddie as well out there for Fury. They've had, for years, Fury's had this very consistent coaching. Riot, on the other hand, has had coaches on and off, and this year they really wanted to have a coach, but they couldn't find anyone who was interested in committing the full time, so they kind of had a coaching by committee. They've actually got 2 coaches out here who've been helping them throughout the season. Mike Lawler, who actually lives in Boston, traveling out to their tournaments and doing video and video analysis for them. And then Ben Wiggins has made the trip out here. He's guest coached a few practices, and he's helping on the sideline for them through this tournament.
It's a great resource for them to have. Wiggins with a ton of experience playing for Sockeye. Starting the huddle.
Center up to Snyder and out wide. Sherwood. Back to Snyder. Riot comes out with the zone again. Nice break to Rudin. Back to Snyder.
Fury working it through patiently.
So Sherwood and Snyder anchoring this zone offense. Here's Maggie Rudin again. Rudin out of Sonoma State. Nice hands from LaRoche. And outside to Fajardo. And Fajardo, easy pass there back to LaRoche for the goal.
LaRoche, I believe, with 3 assists or goal this game.
So this time Fury handles the right zone very effectively.
Taking the safe pass into the end zone.
That ties it up at 7.
Next point takes half.
Next point takes the half.
An upwind would be very key here for Fury. Starting downwind in the second half, give him a chance to go up by 2.
So Matty on the line instructing his troops.
Maddie's coached Fury for the past 6 years and is a high school teacher, so I'm sure some of his skills in teaching translate to his coaching presence, but a very well-respected and well-regarded coach.
He also coaches a middle school team in the Bay Area. Imagine having a 6-time national champion coach as your middle school coach.
Not too shabby.
Not at all. As we were speaking to Maddie before the game, he was discussing every year he feels like it gets harder and harder to get up to speed as a coach. You know, like a veteran athlete, you know, you have to put more and more time into it. And this may be his last year coaching. It'll be a big loss here for this Fury squad. So Weatherford with Griffith wide open, and Weatherford with a break mark throw.
Just goes over.
A little too much edge on that throw.
Riot turn.
Dariani making sure that this goes into the ground.
So Riot comes out with a man-to-man. Sherwood to pick the disc up.
Very active mark by Riot. Violation called.
Sherwood with the disc for Fury.
It's McKibben on the mark.
Fiona McKibben on the mark for Riot.
Sherwood looking at Snyder. Snyder goes up line, break around. This one's hanging. And Griffith able to get in there. Howard the intended receiver on that around throw. And Howard calling the foul.
Sarah Griffith with the deep for Riot. There is a foul called, however.
So Griffith doing a good job of getting position. What do you think about that call?
Looks like there were some, the hands were intermingled there, but looks like they might have just been going for the disc. And you know, sometimes it's hard. You think you're on offense, and if you get hit, it's a foul, but if they're both going straight up, it's hard to tell.
So contested foul, Kate Williamson, the observer there, ruling no foul. So now Riot with a great opportunity here.
There was no foul on
To
the
take
play,
half.
according to the observer. Riot disc. Alyssa Weatherford to put the disc in play.
Weatherford
Alex
to pick
Snyder
it
on
up.
Mark for Fury.
Riot in a vert stack. Griffith with the move. Gets open on Howard. Howard not happy with the mark there. But Riot very happy to take half, up 8-7. Looking for the first new champion in this division for 7 years.
Riot 8, Fury 7.
There have been a few contenders. Brute Squad 1 year, Capitals another, and always Riot.
So we're going to take half here. It's a 10-minute half. We'll be streaming on another feed for the second half. Please continue to join us for what is shaping up to be a classic final between Seattle Riot and San Francisco's Fury. Riot up 8-7. We'll be back in the second half.